Hello people and welcome back to Talking Comics. Today I'm going to be talking about Quicksilver No Surrender. Quicksilver No Surrender focuses obviously on Quicksilver, aka Pietro Maximoff. As he runs so fast, time freezes, sort of trapping him in a stuck point in time where everyone's just frozen, leaving him by himself. This comic heavily goes into Pietro's worldview and how he thinks, while also talking about his Romani heritage. I very much really like this story. I think if you're wanting to understand Quicksilver and how he thinks about people and the rest of the world and why he is who he is, I heavily suggest reading this. It's not even that long of a story, but what it does is interesting. It heavily goes into his anger at the world, his need to protect his sister and those around him, because he doesn't exactly trust a world that has hated his people for being Roma for so long. The comic heavily deals with this sense of loneliness, and that's only because Quicksilver in the comic is alone at this point. Well, technically, there's obviously people, but they're frozen in time, they can't see him, and he's on his own, looking back at his old life and how far he's came, while dealing with his trauma from it all. I will say there is a moment in the comic where they use a word for Romani people, but it's considered offensive because of its history, though the comic acknowledges that it's using the word as a way to talk about the history behind it and talk about how Pietro very much hates it, with him mentioning how they don't know the pain it causes them. This comic also deals with Pietro's issues with fathers in the past, obviously dealing with stuff like Magneto and the other people have looked after him, and how Magneto isn't technically his father because of obvious retcons that happened in the comics later on. The actual artwork in the comic is very unique. I don't think I've ever seen this artist do other comics. I could be wrong about that. It's just I'm not connecting dots and not realizing it's the same person. But the art is very unique in this. It has a very specific style to it. It does look really cool in a lot of certain moments, with very nice visuals. It also can add sense to this loneliness a lot of the times with its use of colour. Like I said before, I think if you're trying to get into Pietro's headspace and understand his character a little bit more, or if you're just wanting to know more about Quicksilver, then this is a good read, especially since it very much deals with his past and so on. Also, it would be a very good place to at least learn more about that character, as most adaptations of him have not been good. People very much like the X-Men movie version, and people don't really care about the MCU Avengers one, but both are equally not Quicksilver in their own way, with both erasing him being Romani, also just erasing a lot of the core aspects that make Quicksilver who he is, with him not really acting like himself in those films. Overall, Quicksilver No Surrender is a very good small comic that goes into the character of Pietro Maximoff and goes into his worldview and the things he's had to suffer through for being a hero, a Romani person, considered a mutant for a while, what meant he was also attacked for that for many years before obviously Quicksilver and Wanda were revealed to not be actual mutants anymore. But yeah, either way, a very good comic which really understands how Quicksilver can't act and his worldview. It really helps you kind of understand the character, in my opinion. Anyway, thank you for watching, and if you want, you can like the video, even dislike it. If you want to see more comic book related videos, there's more on my channel. If you're wanting to read this comic, there is a trade paperback out of it. Like I said, it's not super long and does a really good job at going into Quicksilver's character if you're wanting to know more about his character. But yeah, like I said, thank you, that's all, and goodbye.